sunlight reflecting off the zinc rooftops. The daily commotion finally peacefully stops. Walking through the yard, smelling the cooking fire, watching the amber sun slowly, gracefully retire. Children playing marbles in the dusty red dirt, wearing a hand-me-down, beautifully colorful shirt. Evening breeze arrives, cooling the tropical heat, making the atmosphere incredibly, perfectly sweet.
Sitting on the wooden porch, tuning up the strings, listening closely to the bird as he proudly sings. Elders sharing stories from a century ago, passers by moving gracefully, wonderfully slow. A kerosene lantern illuminates the peeling paint. Every single neighbor acts like a humble saint. History is etched into the cracks of the wall, answering the ancestral genealogical call. Twilight descends upon the legendary neighborhood, understanding the culture fundamentally understood. Shadows lengthening across the cobblestone street, creating a picturesque, exceptionally calm retreat. Basking in the warmth of the trench town glow, where the rivers of memory continually flow. Golden hour painting a magnificent, vivid scene, the most beautiful sunset that has ever been. Trench town glow, an aura of majestic pride, a spectacular feeling you simply cannot hide. Sharing a cup of porridge from the aluminum pot, appreciating deeply everything that we have got. Dogs sleeping lazily underneath the mango tree. This is the absolute definition of being truly free. Poverty might exist, but the spirit is extremely rich, stitching up the community without missing a stitch. Guitars harmonizing with the distant rolling tide, walking with my brethren, stepping side by side.
Fireflies appearing as the dust turns to black, carrying the heritage proudly upon my back. Singing a lullaby to put the baby to sleep, making a solemn promise that I intend to keep. Hanging laundry, drying upon the thin wire line. Everything around me feels incredibly divine. Simplicity is the greatest treasure we possess, living in a state of absolute pure blessedness. Twilight descends upon the legendary neighborhood, understanding the culture fundamentally understood. Shadows lengthening across the cobblestone street, creating a picturesque, exceptionally calm retreat. Basking in the warmth of the trench town glow, where the rivers of memory continually flow. Golden hour painting a magnificent, vivid scene, the most beautiful sunset that has ever been. Trench town glow, an aura of majestic pride, a spectacular feeling you simply cannot hide. Stars multiply across the canopy above, blanketing the village with the spectacular love. The night is a canvas, the village is the art, illuminated by the fire of a unified heart. Golden twilight, peaceful yard, yeah. Rest your head, beautiful evening. Basking in the warmth of the trench town glow, where the rivers of memory continually flow. Golden hour painting a magnificent, vivid scene, the most beautiful sunset that has ever been. Trench town glow, an aura of majestic pride, a spectacular feeling you simply cannot hide. Lanterns flickering, sun that sets, sleeper village, roots and culture. on the slippery cliff above the raging foam, singing an intoxicating melody to guide the sailors home. My voice is a deceptive weapon wrapped in velvet lace, luring the massive galleons into this treacherous place. Silver scales shimmering underneath the cloudy moonlight, promising a beautiful, romantic, unforgettable night. The frequencies are designed to entirely paralyze, masking the deadly intentions hidden in my eyes.
Gripping the wooden helm tightly with my calloused hands, navigating blindly toward the undocumented lands. The compass needle spinning wildly, completely out of control. The mysterious chanting taking a heavy psychological toll. Fog descending, quickly blinding the frantic crew. We are helplessly drawn directly, magnetically to you. The radar is malfunctioning, the charts are entirely wrong. Surrendering my vessel to the captivating mythical song.
The ocean tide pulls with an undeniable tragic force, deviating completely from the designated safe course. A terrifying beauty rising from the salty deep, putting the weary mariners into an eternal sleep. Hypnotized thoroughly by the dangerous siren skank, watching the majestic ship as it inevitably sank. A lethal combination of the melody and the reed, bringing an overwhelming, beautiful, aquatic breeze. Siren skank, echoing across the stormy, dark bay, stealing the brave navigators permanently away.
Warning flares shooting upward into the pitch black, but there is absolutely zero possibility of turning back. The wooden hull splintering against the hidden stone, leaving me entirely, desperately freezing and alone.
Water rushing rapidly into the lower flooding deck, standing at the epicenter of a catastrophic wreck. Yet I cannot stop listening to the mesmerizing tune, drowning in the acoustics beneath the pale moon. Collecting the sunken treasure scattered on the floor, adding another ruined captain to my massive score. My underwater kingdom thrives upon the human demise, a predatory predator wearing a spectacular disguise, breathing the liquid oxygen, swimming effortlessly free. I am the undisputed, gorgeous monarch of the sea. The dub siren wails again, signaling the next attack, waiting patiently for the next armada to unpack. The ocean tide pulls with an undeniable tragic force, deviating completely from the designated safe course. A terrifying beauty rising from the salty deep, putting the weary mariners into an eternal sleep. Hypnotized thoroughly by the dangerous siren skank, watching the majestic ship as it inevitably sank. A lethal combination of the melody and the reef, bringing an overwhelming, beautiful, aquatic breeze. Siren escape, echoing across the stormy, dark bay, stealing the brave navigators permanently away.
No lifeboat can rescue you from this auditory spell,
Descending rapidly into the watery, beautiful hell.
the melody is a beautiful, invisible titan loose.
There is entirely no possibility of calling a truce. Going under, hold your breath, the siren calls. Deep abyss, hypnotized thoroughly by the dangerous siren skank, watching the majestic ship as it inevitably sank. A lethal combination of the melody and the reef, bringing an overwhelming, beautiful, aquatic breeze. Siren machine onto my shoulder, feeling significantly braver and incredibly bolder. The dual cassette deck is an instrument of pure peace, demanding that the neighborhood violence instantly cease. I push the play button, engaging the magnetic head, resurrecting the spirits of the supposedly dead. The woofers are pumping out the visible sonic wave. This portable contraption is precisely what I crave.
Purchasing 8 massive batteries from the corner store to power this magnificent acoustic heavy rod, extending the shiny telescopic antenna to the sky, watching the incredible frequency beautifully fly. We do not need a cathedral with stained glass windows. We find our salvation wherever the street wind blows, carrying the sanctuary directly in my bare hands, broadcasting the message across the barren land. The volume knob is twisted completely to the right, eradicating the darkness of the pessimistic night. A portable revolution running on direct current, becoming an absolute, undeniable, massive deterrent. We carry the temple inside the boombox Zion, roaring loudly like a magnificent
silver lion, transforming the gray sidewalk into a holy place, providing a spectacular mobile spiritual space. Boombox Zion, the heaviest device on the street,
worshiping the power of the analog beat. The handle is heavy, digging deeply into my palm, but the music provides an overwhelmingly sweet calm. Walking past the abandoned, dilapidated buildings, ignoring the fake, superficial corporate gildings. The graphic equalizer bounces up and down in the red, injecting the philosophy directly into your head. This rectangular machine is a technological priest, calming the anger of the metropolitan beast.
Cassette tape spinning slowly inside the plastic shell, rescuing the pedestrians from a psychological hell. The treble is sharp, the mid-range is incredibly clear, eradicating completely the surrounding atmosphere. I am a mobile DJ, a prophet with a silver box, shattering the incredibly heavy invisible locks. People stopping out their heads to the massive sound, the most beautiful congregation to ever be found. The volume knob is twisted completely to the right, eradicating the darkness of the pessimistic night. A portable revolution running on direct current, becoming an absolute, undeniable, massive deterrent. We carry the temple inside the boombox Zion,
Roaring loudly like a magnificent
silver lion, transforming the gray sidewalk into a holy place, providing a spectacular mobile spiritual space. Boombox Zion, the heaviest device on the street,
worshiping the power of the analog
the
beat.
speakers are vibrating the entire neighborhood, doing exactly what the manufacturer understood. When the batteries die, we will simply buy some more, keeping the sanctuary open with an unlocked door.
Rewind, press play,
Turn it up.
maximum volume.
Oh, we carry the temple inside the boombox Zion.
Roaring loudly like a magnificent
Silver lion, transforming the gray sidewalk into a holy place, providing a spectacular mobile spiritual space. Boombox Zion, the heaviest device on the street,
worshiping the power of the analog beat.
batteries low,
Tapes slowing down,
music fading.
DJ
Eject. the crushed velvet couch, watching the sophisticated patrons quietly slouch, sipping an expensive cocktail garnished with a lime, existing in a pocket of suspended glamorous time.
Dim chandeliers cast a ruby, romantic shade, listening to the serenade the saxophonist played. Eye contact established across the crowded room, igniting a sudden intense magnificent bloom. Buttoning my tailor jacket, walking your way, knowing exactly the charismatic words I will say. Your silhouette is striking against the velvet drape, offering a beautiful, necessary, smooth escape. The bass is heavily massaging the expensive floor, leaving the chaotic outside world behind the door. I offer my hand with a gentlemanly, polite bow, capturing the essence of the magnificent now.
Unspoken chemistry communicating through the gaze, navigating beautifully through this romantic haze, synchronizing our breathing to the sensual beat, turning up the dial on the interpersonal heat. We are capturing the ultimate vibe tonight. Everything surrounding us feels absolutely right. A luxurious encounter in the heart of the club, driven by the slow hypnotic tempo of the dub vibe tonight. A magnetic and undeniable pull, making the empty glass overflow completely full,
Guiding you gently onto the polished dance floor, discovering exactly what this evening has in store. Our hips are swaying to the sophisticated groove, executing perfectly every single calculated move. The aroma of your expensive exotic perfume, intoxicating my senses inside this private room, whispering gentle compliments directly in your ear, confirming that our intentions are completely clear.
resting my chin softly against your tailored suit, enjoying the harvest of this forbidden sweet fruit. The rhythm dictates the elegant pace that we set, creating a gorgeous memory I will never forget. Fingers intertwined perfectly, palm against palm, riding the frequency of this spectacular calm. We are the undisputed royalty of this lounge, with nothing to borrow and absolutely nothing to scrounge. Unspoken chemistry communicating through the gaze, navigating beautifully through this romantic haze, synchronizing our breathing to the sensual beat, turning up the dial on the interpersonal heat. We are capturing the ultimate vibe tonight. Everything surrounding us feels absolutely right. A luxurious encounter in the heart of the club, driven by the slow hypnotic tempo of the dub vibe tonight. A magnetic and undeniable pull, making the empty glass overflow completely full.
The bartender wiping down the mahogany wood, everything is aligning exactly as it should. Let the midnight hours stretch into the late dawn, keeping the spectacular smooth energy turned on.
So smooth, hold me closer, don't rush,
Feel the energy.
we are capturing the ultimate vibe tonight. outside my door. Kids are opening hydrants, splashing water on the floor. Barricades are set up at the avenue intersection. Everyone is gathering, seeking musical perfection. Coolers packed with ice, beverages flowing free, celebrating unity as far as the eye can see.
Selectors towering high behind the amplifier stacks, spinning heavy acetates, playing exclusive tracks. Subwoofer shaking windows on the third floor flat. Rude boys congregating wearing the fedora hat. Police cruisers pass by but they decide to let us be, because the vibration brings a temporary amnesty. Turn the volume maximum, let the speakers blow. Watch the massive population putting on a show. Concrete shakes and trembles underneath our sneakers. Information travels through the massive black tweeters. Welcome to the rhythm block, the undisputed zone, where the heavyweight champion claims the sonic throne. Basslines hitting harder than a heavyweight fight, dancing furiously straight into the early morning light. Rhythm block, the neighborhood is totally alive. This is the exclusive place where we all survive. Microphone is echoing across the crowded square. Lyrical artillery exploding in the humid air. Toasters chanting melodies, capturing the mood. Sharing plates of festival, eating spicy island food. Generation mingling, the elders and the youth, listening to the poetry, absorbing all the truth. Neighbors leaning out from the fire escape stairs, throwing down confetti, abandoning their cares. Sweat is dripping down my spine, rhythm takes my hips, singing every lyric with my ruby painted lips. Strangers becoming family beneath the street lamp glow, caught inside the undercurrent, going with the flow. Volume maximum, let the speakers blow. Watch the massive population putting on a show. Concrete shakes and trembles underneath our sneakers. Information travels through the massive black tweeters. Welcome to the rhythm block, the undisputed zone, where the heavyweight champion claims the sonic throne. Basslines hitting harder than a heavyweight fight, dancing furiously straight into the early morning light. Rhythm block, the neighborhood is totally alive. This is the exclusive place where we all survive. Decibels increasing, the foundation starts to crack. Ain't no turning around, ain't no looking back. Community assembled, unbreakable and strong, singing the chorus of this never-ending song. Oh, yeah. Rewind the track, pull it up, maximum capacity, let it drop. Welcome to the rhythm block, the undisputed zone, where the heavyweight champion claims the sonic throne. Basslines hitting harder than a heavyweight fight, dancing furiously straight into the early morning light. Rhythm block, the neighborhood is totally alive. This is the exclusive place where we all survive. Block party endings, sun coming up, ears still ringing. See you tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. Oh, oh, oh.
slightly above my head, walking through a metropolis painted infrared. Holographic advertisements promising a fake joy, selling plastic fantasies disguised as a shiny toy. I wear my reflective visor to block the glare, breathing in the synthetic, heavily filtered air. Living inside a simulation, running on a grid, trying to remember the innocent things I did.
Microchips implanted deeply inside the human brain, trading natural spirituality for digital cold rain. The system operates on an algorithmic code, sending heavy data down a fiber optic road.
Profits are censored by the mainframe firewall, waiting for the artificial empire to finally fall. We about to reach powering a greedy, vicious beast, starving our spirits at this technologic Google feast. Unplug the cables from the back of the spine, rejecting the poisonous manufactured wine. The matrix is glitching, the screen is going black. We are launching a massive acoustic counterattack. Welcome to the terrifying neon Babylon, where the illusion is constantly brightly left on. A cybernetic prison with invisible laser bars, blocking our view of the natural ancient stars. Neon Babylon,
A beautiful but deadly trap,
erasing our coordinates entirely from the map.
virtual reality goggles blinding the youth, preventing them from witnessing the absolute truth. Cyber police patrolling the information web, watching the organic tide slowly, sadly ebb.
But the acoustic guitar possesses a virus strain, designed to penetrate the mechanical domain, uploading a frequency of pure, undeniable love, hacking the satellites positioned up above. Swiping my identity card at the security gate, escaping the algorithm before it gets too late. I am a ghost circulating inside the machine, the most dangerous anomaly they have ever seen. Downloading the rhythm directly into my soul, bypassing the centralized tyrannical control. The pixels are dissolving, revealing the rust, watching the motherboards crumble into dust. Unplug the cables from the back of the spine, rejecting the poisonous manufactured wine. The matrix is glitching, the screen is going black. We are launching a massive acoustic counterattack. Welcome to the terrifying neon Babylon, where the illusion is constantly brightly left on. A cybernetic prison with invisible laser bars, blocking our view of the natural ancient stars. Neon Babylon,
A beautiful but deadly trap,
erasing our coordinates entirely from the map.
short circuit the server, shatter the glass screen, awaken the citizens from this algorithmic dream. The baseline is a logic bomb ready to detonate, opening up the encrypted heavy firewall gate.
System failure,
Rebooting,
override, error, error, error. Welcome to the terrifying neon Babylon, where the illusion is constantly brightly left on. A cybernetic prison with invisible laser bars, blocking our view of the natural ancient stars. Neon Babylon,
a beautiful but deadly trap,
erasing our coordinates entirely from the map. Shutting down, screen goes dark, the real world away. Disconnect, disconnect. Stepping into the massive glass botanical dome, leaving the cold, unforgiving city to find a new home. Condensation dripping from the gigantic fern leaves, a spectacular environment that my spirit receives. Orchids blooming brilliantly in the artificial moonlight, creating an absolutely stunning, colorful sight. Taking off my sandals to feel the damp, rich soil, escaping entirely from the metropolitan turmoil.
The humidity is rising inside this giant terrarium, a beautifully preserved botanical aquarium. We cultivate the rhythm underneath the glass ceiling, experiencing a completely natural euphoric feeling. The bass frequency makes the massive palm trees shake, a magnificent vibration that we successfully make. Roots digging deeply into the cultivated dark dirt, healing every single accumulated psychological hurt. The temperature is perfectly regulated in this space, a highly secretive, beautifully overgrown place. Flora and fauna responding to the heavy dub beats, creating an undeniable, exceptionally sticky heat. Dancing wildly upon the tropical floor, opening up a leafy, magnificent green door. Oh, 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 yeah. A jungle oasis hidden completely out of sight, celebrating nature throughout the entire night. Tropical floor, a greenhouse of pure perfection, a spectacular biological deep connection. Vines wrapping securely around the steel structural beams, fulfilling the most ambitious agricultural dreams. The subwoofer is disguised as a hollowed out log, pumping the music through the thick artificial fog. We are the gardeners of the auditory, every sound planting the musical seeds deeply into the ground. The canopy catches the echoes bouncing from below, watching the bioluminescent mushrooms softly glow.
Petals opening up to receive the acoustic vibration, a beautifully localized environmental salvation. My dress sweeps across the mossy emerald green, the most magnificent garden I have ever seen. Oxygen levels are incredibly, exceptionally high. Looking through the glass at the distant starry sky, we are dancing in a perfectly sealed ecosystem, extracting the beauty from the complex plant stem. The temperature is perfectly regulated in this space, a highly secretive, beautifully overgrown place. Flora and fauna responding to the heavy dub beat, creating an undeniable, exceptionally sticky heat. Dancing wildly upon the tropical floor, opening up a leafy, magnificent green door. Oh, 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 oh. A jungle oasis hidden completely out of sight, celebrating nature throughout the entire night. Tropical floor, a greenhouse of pure perfection, a spectacular biological deep connection.
Let the artificial rain shower upon the crowd,
Play the organic instruments exceptionally loud.
the glass walls protect us from the freezing outside.
A magnificent sanctuary where we can safely hide. Humid air,
Breathe deeply,
roots growing,
glass dome.
dancing wildly upon the tropical floor, opening up a leafy, magnificent green door. A jungle oasis hidden completely out of sight, celebrating nature throughout the entire night. Tropical floor, a greenhouse of pure perfection, a spectacular biological deep connection. Watering the plants,
Greenhouse sleeps,
tropical vibes.
so lush.
Yeah. magnificent masquerade down the avenue, wearing a spectacular costume of sapphire blue. Gigantic feathered wings stretching brilliantly wide, bursting with an intoxicating, unapologetic pride. The matriarch of the archipelago shining in the sun, ensuring that the massive festival has officially begun. Sequins reflecting the incredibly bright tropical rays, dancing triumphantly through the observatory haze.
Following her magnificent flow down the parade route, blowing enthusiastically on the carved wooden flute. The diaspora unites in this spectacular, colorful swarm, sheltering beautifully inside the cultural warm storm. She commands the procession with the flick of her wrist, adding a joyful, undeniable, energetic twist. The calypso melodies blend with the heavy reggae drum erasing the memory of where the bitter tears came from.
The entire peninsula vibrates with the massive cheer, the most anticipated, beautiful holiday of the year. Swaying our hips to the infectious island groove, watching the spectacular, decorated chariots move. Make way for the spectacular, glowing island diva, curing the population of the highly contagious fever. The undisputed queen of the glorious grand carnival, hosting the ultimate, magnificent cultural festival. Island diva, wearing the extravagant plume crown, turning the sadness of the entire geography upside down.
Boy, tossing the colorful beats through the enthusiastic crowd, playing the percussion instruments exceptionally loud. Her energy is an entirely renewable, massive source, guiding the festivities on a joyous, spectacular course. We celebrate the heritage, we honor the deep roots, tasting the sweetness of the native tropical fruits. The stilt walkers tower high above the massive streets, synchronizing their steps to her undeniable beat.
My headdress is a towering architectural masterpiece, commanding that the suffering immediately finally cease. I am the visual representation of the island soul, making the fragmented, broken history entirely whole. Pouring the sweet nectar into the communal cup, lifting the spirits of the entire neighborhood up. The confetti rains down like a colorful paper shower, embracing the magnificent matriarchal total power. The entire peninsula vibrates with the massive cheer, the most anticipated, beautiful holiday of the year. Swaying our hips to the infectious island groove, watching the spectacular, decorated chariots move. Make way for the spectacular, glowing island diva, curing the population of the highly contagious fever. The undisputed queen of the glorious grand carnival, hosting the ultimate, magnificent cultural festival. Island diva, wearing the extravagant plume crown, turning the sadness of the entire geography upside down.
The sun is setting,
but the masquerade continues on.
we will keep celebrating
Till the break of dawn,
the rhythm is a deeply embedded,
cultural lifeline,
making the entire archipelago brilliantly shine.
jump up, wave your flag, queen of the band, carnival joy. Make way for the spectacular, glowing island diva, curing the population of the highly contagious fever. The undisputed queen of the glorious grand carnival, hosting the ultimate, magnificent cultural festival. Island Looking through the frosted glass of my brownstone flat, wondering where the warmth of the summer went and sat. Snowflakes descending upon the incredibly quiet street, burying the memories beneath the terrifying white sheet. Tears freezing instantly upon my shivering cheek, feeling emotionally drained, vulnerable and weak. The radiator hisses, but it provides no actual heat, accepting the reality of this emotional defeat.
Walking underneath the massive rusted overpass, watching the heavy icicles forming on the glass. Collar turned up against the absolutely bitter chill, swallowing a tremendously difficult jagged pill, carrying the generational sorrow inside my heavy lungs, speaking the prayers in the forgotten ancient tongues. The metropolis is a frozen, unforgiving concrete beast, starving the poor people at the billionaires' feet. The saxophone cries out into the desolate night, searching desperately for a tiny flicker of light. Echoes bouncing off the frozen brick facade, questioning the intentions of the universe and God. Listen to the tragic, beautiful Brooklyn wail, where the broken promises continually sadly fail. A melancholy symphony played on the frozen string, waiting patiently for the eventual return of spring. Brooklyn wail, a heavy, devastating urban sigh, reaching all the way up to the overcast sky. Plowing through the snowdrifts, blocking the avenue, wondering how I will ever manage to get to you. My boots are soaking wet from the melting slush, surviving the frantic morning commuter rush. The bassline acts as a heavy, thick woolen coat, protecting the fragile vocal cords inside my throat. We huddle around the flaming trash barrel for warmth, enduring the brutality of this psychological storm. Pigeons sheltering, shivering beneath the window ledge, standing dangerously close to the emotional edge. The street lamps flicker, casting a yellow, sickly glow, reflecting off the dirty, accumulated city snow. I sing a lullaby to the ghosts of my romantic past, knowing that this freezing temperature cannot last. The morning dove answers from the fire escape stairs, carrying the heavy burden of my unspoken cares. The saxophone cries out into the desolate night, searching desperately for a tiny flicker of light. Echoes bouncing off the frozen brick facade, questioning the intentions of the universe and God. Listen to the tragic, beautiful Brooklyn wail, where the broken promises continually sadly fail. A melancholy symphony played on the frozen string, waiting patiently for the eventual return of spring. Brooklyn wail, a heavy, devastating urban sigh, reaching all the way up to the overcast sky. Let the tears fall down and melt the stubborn ice. We have already paid the ultimate heavy price. The rhythm with all the completely frozen heart, giving us the strength to beautifully restart. So come, hold on, winter passes, keep breathing. Listen to the tragic, beautiful Brooklyn wail, where the broken promises continually sadly fail. A melancholy symphony played on the floor.
ceremonially into this ancestral space. The bonfire crackles, shooting embers to the sky, honoring the magnificent spirits that never die. Feathers decorating my elaborately woven crown, calling all the villagers from the surrounding town, dancing wildly in a circle, kicking up the dirt, wearing a deeply symbolic embroidered shirt.
Beating the goatskin congas with my bare hands, connecting directly with the distant motherlands. Elders nodding slowly in deep, profound approval, celebrating the spectacular spiritual renewal. Passing the bamboo chalice around the large ring, listening to the oldest patriarch beautifully sing, chanting the ancient hymns in a forgotten tongue, feeling incredibly powerful and wonderfully young.
The ancestors are joining the celebration tonight, bathed completely in the magnificent lunar light. Bloodlines intertwining like the roots of a tree, a spectacular display of indigenous majesty. Welcome to the underground roots party, where the laughter is loud and incredibly hearty, stripping away the modern superficial disguise, revealing the wisdom shining in our eyes. Roots party, a tribal rhythmic communion, a magnificent, unbreakable, familial union.
Sharing the folklore, passing down the myth, working the iron like a traditional blacksmith. The tempo increases, heartbeats begin to race, leaving a permanent mark upon this sacred place. Sweat pours down like a heavy tropical shower, embracing the raw, undeniable collective power. No microphones, just the volume of the chest, putting our tremendous stamina to the ultimate test.
Cowrie shells rattling around my slender wrists, shaking off the modern world and all its crazy twists. The hypnotic repetition induces a trance state, allowing us to beautifully, easily elevate. Women ululating loudly, a piercing, joyous cry, reaching past the clouds, touching the starry sky. We are the surviving seeds of a magnificent tree, blooming spectacularly for everyone to clearly see. The ancestors are joining the celebration tonight, bathed completely in the magnificent lunar light. Bloodlines intertwining like the roots of a tree, a spectacular display of indigenous majesty. Welcome to the underground roots party, where the laughter is loud and incredibly hearty, stripping away the modern superficial disguise, revealing the wisdom shining in our eyes. Roots party, a tribal rhythmic communion, a magnificent, unbreakable, familial union.
Honor the lineage, respect the old ways, lighten the darkness with a spectacular blaze. The drum is the heartbeat, the fire is the soul, making a broken community completely whole.
Dance harder, feel the earth, call the spirits, fire burning. Oh! Welcome to the underground roots party, where the laughter is loud and incredibly hearty, stripping away the modern superficial disguise, revealing the wisdom shining in our eyes. Roots party, a tribal rhythmic communion, a magnificent, unbreakable, familial union. Ashes glowing, spirits resting, tribe is strong, ancestors smile. Sitting cross-legged on the dressing room floor, hearing 50,000 fans screaming for more. Makeup artist applying the final velvet rouge. The anticipation building is incredibly huge. Tuning the nylon strings perfectly by ear, overcoming every last microscopic stage fear. Sequin wardrobe hanging on the metal rack, preparing for the massive spectacular attack.
Roadies pushing the heavy equipment crates, security holding back the fans at the gates. Testing the wireless monitors, checking the mic, making sure the audio levels perfectly strike. Plugging in the acoustic bass in the corridor, finding the quiet moment before we hit the floor. Away from the flashing cameras and the press, enjoying this unplugged musical finesse. The curtain is heavy, about to magically rise. Adrenaline pumping, visible inside our eyes. But right here in the shadows, hidden from view, we create a private melody exclusively for you. Welcome to the backstage, Jenny Jam. Before we activate the stadium hologram, just a wooden guitar and a raw, beautiful voice, making the nervous, anxious spirit rejoice. Jenny Jam. An intimate acoustic preparation before we broadcast to the entire global nation. Stage manager holding the glowing clipboard, signaling the start of the opening chord. But we linger for a second in the hallway, letting this spontaneous sweet rhythm play. Faders are pushed up on the master console, ready to unleash the fire deep in the soul. We harmonize softly, matching the pitch before they activate the main power switch.
We're wetting down the concrete hall, ready to answer the spectacular blinding call. Trading the sneakers for the highest stiletto heel, focusing entirely on the way the lyrics feel. The entourage clapping on the offbeat timing, while the internal temperature keeps climbing. This private session is my ultimate sanctuary, before I become extraordinary and legendary. The curtain is heavy, about to magically rise. Adrenaline pumping, visible inside our eyes. But right here in the shadows, hidden from view, we create a private melody exclusively for you. Welcome to the backstage, Jenny Jam. Before we activate the stadium hologram, just a wooden guitar and a raw, beautiful voice, making the nervous, anxious spirit rejoice. Jenny Jam. An intimate acoustic preparation before we broadcast to the entire global nation.
5 minutes left on the digital countdown clock, ready to make the massive amphitheater rock.
But hold this unplugged memory close to the chest, because the quietest moments are often the best.
Breathe in,
Find the center.
almost time. Let's go.
Welcome to the backstage, Jenny Jam. Before we activate the stadium hologram, just a wooden guitar and a raw, beautiful voice, making the nervous, anxious spirit rejoice. Jenny Jam. An intimate to the center of the storm, wearing neon colors that glow completely bright, searching for the ultimate sonic appetite. The underground bunker is hidden out of view, only accessible to the chosen lucky few. Elevator descending into the basement deep, where the nocturnal creatures refuse to go to sleep.
Sound system operator plugging in the thick cables, wiping down the surface of the dual turntables. Amplifier tubes glow in a dangerous hot red, preparing to unleash the thunder in your head.
Testing the microphone, saying check 1 and 2, sending massive shockwaves directly into you. The concrete foundation is beginning to crack. Once you feel the pressure, you can never go back. Dial up the frequency, maximize the gain, let the heavy audio wash away the brain. Physical sensation taking over every nerve. We are heading straight into a dangerous curve. We need the bass tonight, rattling the chest, putting the subwoofers to the ultimate test. Lower than the ocean, deep beating down upon the endless sand, navigating blindly through this unforgiving land. A mirage shimmering falsely on the high horizon, searching for the courage of the mighty desert lion.
Leather boots kicking up the yellow dusty trail, refusing absolutely to collapse or ever fail.
Canteens are nearly empty, lips are cracked and dry, staring upward at the merciless expansive sky.
Gripping the wooden staff tightly inside my fist, marching through the morning's evaporated mist. Nomadic tribes wandering across the massive dunes, following the guidance of the ancient crescent moons. Camels carrying the spices and the heavy silk, drinking the nourishment of the fermented milk. The caravan continues despite the brutal heat, conquering the geography with our callous feet. Left foot, right foot, never losing the stride, swallowing our arrogance, abandoning our pride. The journey is the ultimate magnificent goal, testing the endurance of the human weary soul. I am a dedicated rhythm stepper, walking far, guided by the brilliant light of the northern star, crossing the wasteland, determined to survive, keeping the ancestral ancient traditions alive. Rhythm stepper, moving across the barren earth, experiencing a difficult, spectacular rebirth. Scorpions scurrying beneath the jagged rocks, ignoring the ticking of the artificial clocks, finding an oasis hidden within the deep canyon. Water is the ultimate magnificent companion, resting underneath the shade of the solitary palm, reciting a prayer, singing a traditional psalm, replenishing the stamina to continue the trek, wrapping the cotton scarf tightly around my neck.
Campfires crackling loudly in the freezing night, providing a necessary comforting warm light. Gypsy skirts twirling to the acoustic guitar, realizing exactly how incredibly strong we are. Sleeping upon a carpet woven from sheep wool, waiting for the moon to become completely full. At dawn we dismantle the temporary canvas tents, enduring the harshness of the natural element.
Foot, right foot,
Never losing the stride, swallowing our arrogance, abandoning our pride.
the journey is the ultimate magnificent goal,
Testing the endurance of the human weary soul. I am a dedicated rhythm stepper, walking far, guided by the brilliant light of the northern star, crossing the wasteland, determined to survive, keeping the ancestral ancient traditions alive. Rhythm stepper, moving across the barren earth, experiencing a difficult, spectacular rebirth.
the destination matters less than the dusty road, carrying this evolutionary genealogical load. Footprints instantly erased by the blowing wind, leaving absolutely nothing but our tracks behind.
Keep walking,
Don't look back,
miles to go.
steady pace.
I am a dedicated rhythm stepper, walking far, guided by the brilliant light of the northern star, crossing the wasteland, determined to survive, keeping the ancestral ancient traditions alive. Rhythm stepper, moving across the barren earth, experiencing a difficult, spectacular rebirth. Over the dunes of a surreal boulevard where reality is fragile and the illusions are hard. Vendors selling glass jars filled with forgotten dreams. Nothing in this bizarre district is exactly what it seems.
I trade a silver coin for a potion of lost memories, unlocking the incredibly strange multi-dimensional keys. The sky above is painted a swirling, impossible magenta, wandering blindly into the completely unknown center.
Clocks on the brick walls are ticking entirely backward. The gravitational pull is feeling incredibly awkward. Buying a handful of stardust from the merchant tent, wondering exactly where the concept of sanity went. The psychic readers decipher the patterns in the smoke, revealing the cosmic punchline of the universal joke. I am a traveler stuck between the shifting parallel realms, navigating the ship with absolutely no recognizable helms.
The architecture bends and twists in the strange twilight, eradicating the boundary between the day and the night. A magical realism heavily dripping from the eaves, gathering the falling glow and supernatural leaves. Getting lost forever down a mystic avenue, discovering a completely different alternate view, where the impossible happens on a daily routine. The most hallucinatory, bizarre ever seen. Mystic Avenue, a tear in the dimensional fabric, experiencing the highly unusual auditory magic.
Hey! Lanterns floating upwards without any visible strings, listening to the mutant bird that telepathically sings. The bassline is a snake charmer mesmerizing the mind, leaving the logical, rational explanations far behind. I purchase a map that constantly changes its own ink, sitting at the edge of the incredibly terrifying brink. The shopkeepers speak a language of pure ringing bells, trapped inside their beautiful, fascinating, dizzying spell.
Mirrors reflecting faces that I have never actually worn, watching a beautiful miniature acoustic galaxy be born. My shadow detaches itself and dances on the brick wall, answering the incredibly strange supernatural call. Drinking the neon elixir that allows me to finally fly, hovering gently beneath the impossible magenta sky. The reggae rhythm warps and bends out of natural shape, providing a magnificent, deeply psychological escape. The architecture bends and twists in the strange twilight, eradicating the boundary between the day and the night. A magical realism heavily dripping from the eaves, gathering the falling, glowing supernatural leaves. Getting lost forever down a mystic avenue, discovering a completely different alternate view, where the impossible happens on a daily routine. The most hallucinatory, bizarre ever seen. Mystic Avenue, a tear in the dimensional fabric, experiencing the highly unusual auditory magic. Do not try to find the exit, just enjoy the strange ride. Let the multi-dimensional current be your only guide. The ordinary world is incredibly boring anyway, deciding to permanently, voluntarily, magically stay. Time is melting.
Look in the mirror,
Bending reality, lost away. electricity crackling in the air. We are not protesting with a picket or a sign. We are using choreography to cross the battle line. Step to the left, pivot sharply to the right, turning our frustration into a beacon of light. Every single motion is a calculated strike, moving all together down the middle of the turnpike.
Oppressors looking down from their ivory towers, underestimating the capacity of our powers. They try to legislate the way we naturally feel, but the rhythm of the people is made of forged steel.
Marching to the frequency of ultimate defiance, forming an unbreakable underground alliance. We do not need artillery to tear the system down. We just need the heaviest subwoofers in the town. The tempo is a weapon, the melody's a shield. We are taking over the entire battlefield. No surrender, no retreat. We hold the front line, following the guidance of a higher grand design. Get ready for the rebel dance, a physical revolt, heating the establishment like a lightning bolt, shaking off the shackles with a synchronized sway, chasing all the dictators and hypocrites away. Rebel dance, the revolution is finally here, conquering the tyranny, eradicating fear.
Generals are panicking, checking on their screens, trying to decipher what this movement really means. Footsteps vibrating like an earthquake on the fault, bringing their corrupt economy to a grinding halt. We are warriors of sound, soldiers of the groove, moving our intentions with every single move. Babylon is crumbling beneath our stomping feet.
Victory is tasting incredibly sweet, spinning like a hurricane, twisting like a storm, breaking every boundary, rejecting every norm. Sweat is camouflage, painting my determined face, claiming ownership of this contested urban space. Shoulder to shoulder, we form a human barricade, showing off the courage that we have proudly made. No one can stop a tide that has already turned, watching all the wicked institutions get burned. The tempo is a weapon, the melody's a shield. We are taking over the entire battlefield. No surrender, no retreat. We hold the front line, following the guidance of a higher grand design. Get ready for the rebel dance, a physical revolt, hitting the establishment like a lightning bolt, shaking off the shackles with a synchronized sway, chasing all the dictators and hypocrites away. Rebel dance, the revolution is finally here, conquering the tyranny, eradicating fear. designer, custom couture. My posture is intimidating, my attitude is incredibly pure. The paparazzi chasing me down the bustling Island Avenue, capturing the fascinating, highly contrasting, striking view, balancing perfectly upon the 6-inch needle, thin spike, commanding the aesthetic attention that I absolutely like.
The capital city acts as a spectacular, gritty backdrop, watching the incredibly glamorous, unexpected photo drop. She poses fiercely in front of the local neighborhood style, ignoring the traditional, conservative, predictable protocol.
The flash bulbs illuminate the cracks in the old pavement, a magnificent escape from the typical studio enslavement. The subwoofers act as the metronome for her flawless stride, filling the local residents with the massive, undeniable pride. High fashion collides with the foundational deep roots, trading the typical combat gear for the stylish boots. The runway stretches across the entire historical town, refusing to let the intense tropical humidity drag us down.
Strutting fiercely in the towering Kingston hills,
Showing the entire world exactly how the island feels.
a glamorous invasion of the authentic.
Rugged street, moving elegantly to the heavy, uncompromising beat.
Kingston hills,
A portrait of magnificent contrast, building a
stylish legacy.
that is guaranteed to last.
The local sound clash is the after party for the runway show, showing the international models exactly where to properly go. Vogue magazine editors mixing with the underground crew, discovering a perspective that is entirely vibrantly new.
I DJ the event, matching her incredible visual aesthetic, creating an atmosphere that is undeniably fiercely kinetic. The Jamaican breeze catches the train of her expensive dress, a flawless exhibition of undeniable cultural success.
Striking a dramatic pose against the rusted iron gate, dictating the incredibly fast, highly demanding fashion rate. My accessories are as loud as the massive vibrating bass, claiming absolute ownership of this beautiful island space.
The juxtaposition is a brilliant, highly calculated art, capturing the rhythm of the capitals beating hard. I pause at the intersection, letting the cameras rapid fire, elevating the standard of beauty significantly, intensely high. High fashion collides with the foundational deep roots, trading the typical combat gear for the stylish boots. The runway stretches across the entire historical town, refusing to let the intense tropical humidity drag us down.
Strutting fiercely in the towering Kingston hills,
Showing the entire world exactly how the island feels.
a glamorous invasion of the authentic.
Rugged street, moving elegantly to the heavy, uncompromising beat.
Kingston hills,
A portrait of magnificent contrast, building a
stylish legacy.
that is guaranteed to last. The concrete is a highly demanding, unforgiving stage, but we are writing a spectacular revolution every page. Elegance and the authentic street credibility line up perfectly executed, visually stunning, brilliant design. Strike a pose, fierce walk, turn the corner, capture the shot.
Strutting fiercely in the towering Kingston hills,
Showing the entire world exactly how the island feels.
a glamorous invasion of the authentic.
Rugged street, moving elegantly to the heavy,
Uncompromising beat. Kingston hill,
a portrait of magnificent contrast, building a
stylish legacy.
that is guaranteed to last. Runway clear, that's a wrap. Island